Hello and welcome to the week 3. I checked REBBL recap for REL 9 and 10A. I am Chaos Blue,
And hey, I'm SB Dwiggy.
and we are still both, I'm pretty sure, technically members of Team Foul. I mean, once you're on Foul once, you're there for life. Um,
I mean, I'm on Team Foul. I don't know
I
about
mean,
everybody else in the room,
I'm
but
still,
I am.
look, I'm still in the Discord. I still have it in my name on, our, in the REBBL Discord as well. I am definitely still a member of Team Foul. Anyway, we are here for recapping. Some of it is not Clan League, so let's do that. First of all, we're gonna, as usual, we are gonna start with Division 9, which, as I said last week, I think quite briefly, there are now two admin teams because one of them teams had to drop out, which is unfortunate, but it happens.
Yeah.
So this, we do have the slight benefit, at least, of them having admin in the front, which is quite handy for identifying them. That was
Yeah.
not a thing last season.
No, it was not.
So the first game that got played, Sugars and Spite versus Frosting and Filling.
All right. So it looks like the Norse won this one 1-0. Daffo 97 putting a daft beating on some Dark Elves. We do have a dead lineman who stole the MVP, which that's not fun.
Which, of course, it did.
Yeah.
But that is the only death or perm that happened in this game.
It seemed to be a fairly not bloody match. 3 Kazs on Sugar and Spite side. I only see 2 in the client, so I'm assuming one of them got Apo'd. And it looks like fairly even on the KOs as well. A few more for Sugar and Spite. But it was still pretty even on ball possession, 37 to 43, which isn't that big of a difference. It's probably 2 surfs though also on Frosting and Filling, so they ended up getting a grand total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 removals on 1 score. So if you don't have a lot of rolls to get your KOs back and get your surfs off the bench, it's going to be tough. So most likely what happened is I'm going to go ahead and just assume here that Frosting and Filling received first. The Dark Elves couldn't turn over, but the Frosting and Filling couldn't score. And then Sugar and Spite on their drive got turned over, and with so few people on the field, Frosting and Filling just stalled till the end of the game.
My slightly alternate take is that Frosting and Filling was probably offense first. Then I would imagine they scored in turn 7 or 8. Dark Elves couldn't score in 1 or 2 turns, and then on their drive they had they had enough players removed, both from the previous drive and probably from surfing, that they just couldn't score at that point.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much the same thing.
Just a slightly different order of events. Yeah.
Exactly. But, yeah.
Okay, moving on. We have the Fat Earthers versus Charlestown Chiefs, which is everyone's
favorite ogre team. Got beat on again, unfortunately.
2-0 win for the Lizards. In terms of injuries, the death is a Noblar, so it doesn't even count as a dead player.
Rookie Noblar. It's gone.
The only real other damage is that the Charlestown Chiefs took an MNG on their plus agility skink, which I don't think is a deal breaker for them, but I think that'll hurt them next game.
It could. He doesn't really have anything else other than Agi 2. He's a great one-turner, but you still have your sure hand skink who's going to be reliable at picking up the ball. So I think he'll be fine.
It depends on who his next opponent is. really. I think not having the Agi 4 player could be quite the trouble for him. But you're right, like, he does have the sure hand, so he might be able to just make do.
And Charlestown Chief is playing Sugar and Spite next week, and I do not believe he has any strip ball, so it doesn't really matter with the sure hands other than just being more reliable on picking up. So,
I mean, don't underestimate turning a 3+ into a 1 and 9.
that's true.
Other than that, this was actually a surprisingly, like, not a very bloody game. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I say that. The Lizards did get, like, 7 removals, but I kind of feel like that's not that much against Ogres. At the same time, I am aware that the Fat Earthers only had, like, 12 players in this game, which seems low. Seems on the low side.
They have all 6 ogres, but one of them got badly hurt. I'm assuming that one probably came early, and I'm not looking in clients, so I don't know what the bonehead rolls were. And that can always be a huge factor.
For that matter, those 7 removals don't factor in the 2 expulsions either.
Oh, so let me look in the game. Yeah, two expulsions. So I'm assuming those. He's probably trying to save. He's probably outnumbered and trying to save some people, is what I'm thinking. Or he was just desperately trying to get skinks.
I mean, he's ogre, so I think he's fouling with a Nobbler anytime he has half a chance to do so.
Yeah, I mean, skinks are easy to hurt if they're on the ground, so he's probably trying to do that. It might even have been what got the Agi one.
Yeah, that's very possible.
But I am looking at it now. 51 successes on Bonehead, 13 failures though, so that would be each one boneheading at least twice in the game. So
that is below average failure. Above average failure. It is below average success. You would expect this to be at the 16% failure, which would be 84.
Yeah, so a little bit more boneheads than you would normally want. But with that many rolls, I think that means that the ogre coming off the field was probably fairly early or fairly late in the game. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, that is like 64 bonehead rolls. That is moving all of your ogres almost every turn.
Yeah, and I'm surprised that the Charlestown Chiefs got 40 blocks off. I know that ogres are going to want to, base up a lot, but I wouldn't expect them to get that many off against ogres, because you would think there would be more red dice that they would want to take. But I don't know. Maybe I'll have to go back and watch that one.
Maybe so. Finally, we have the CR Boys Giant Stags versus Durin's Dastardly Dudes, which is won by the Dwarves 2-1.
Yeah, I thought this one was as bloody as the game that CR Boys had last week, but it didn't seem to be as bad once I looked back at the thing just now.
The Elves actually got more armor breaks than the Dwarves did.
Yeah, but he ended up having...
But not as many removals.
Yeah, he had 5 loners in the game, and one of them stole the MVP. I don't know if that one's ended up on the team or not, but... that's always gonna hurt. But he got one off. It's just tough for Wood Elves to really take on dwarves, especially ones that have, or I guess anybody with sure hands is gonna be tough, and then dwarves with all the tackle, it can get pretty rough.
I wish I had seen this match, because these are really weird statistics. The Elves outblocked the dwarves. The Elves turned out blocking the dwarves into a armor break advantage, but they couldn't actually turn that into a removal advantage. And the dwarves have had massive control over the ball, which suggests to me that the Elves probably scored early in their drive.
Yeah. What I see when I look at these stats, because I've played this game against Elves before too, where they get more blocks on me. And I'm a slower, low agi team because I used to play a lot of lizards. I've
never done this.
Yeah, so I'm basing up a lot on the elves trying to break through the screen, and then instead of them dodging out, they're just finding 2 dice blocks and pushing me back a rank. So I've played that game before. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, and this time it works because he ended up scoring twice.
Yeah, I've never done this. Like, even when I have been destroyed, my team's getting destroyed by an agi team, I still usually have more blocks. Sometimes another bash team will outblock me, but if I'm playing, I'm never outblocked by an agi team when I'm playing a bash team.
Yeah.
Although to be fair, I play Blood Bowl a little differently than a lot of other people. I tend to have the philosophy of keep rolling more dice until something good happens.
Yeah. Well, also because we don't know when Duran's actually dude scored, but they scored twice, and if they started on defense at the beginning of the game, that's 3 line of scrimmage block rounds. So that would be, 3 blocks and a blitz for 3 turns. That'll add up. So maybe that's what it was.
Okay, so I'm looking at the stats a little bit more. I'm certain that Sierra Boys scored early on their half. They only held the ball for 2 or 3 turns, and they did a 8 square pass. Their only successful pass, was 8 squares long. They have 0% occupation in their opponent's half, which, yeah, this is passing halfway across the field and scoring in 2 turns.
Yeah. So it's a classic 2-1 grind, it looks like.
Mm-hmm. Except without the grind, it seems.
Yeah.
Okay, then. Well, those are the games. Let's look at... Okay, so, because there's 8 teams here, and there's 14 teams in the other one, I think we will just look at one team in this division for the...
Yes.
At least for the next few weeks.
Spread the love.
Exactly. So having said that, are there any... You were not here last week. Are there any teams you would like to look at?
Have we looked at... Let's go with Duran's Dashley Dudes. Have we looked at them?
We have. That was one of the first teams we looked at.
Never mind. Have we looked at Charlestown Chiefs?
We have not.
All right.
Okay, then. Putting on the foil. Oh, it's because it's chefs, right. I get it. I think it's chefs.
It's Chiefs.
But, wait. Okay, these are clearly names from something, but I don't know. I don't know what they're from.
Jack Hansen. I know I've heard of Jack Hansen before, but I don't know the rest of them. Johnny Upton, Billy Charles Boys, Ed Braden, Dennis Lemieux. I mean, there's obviously a pattern here. You talk about the team, I will Google it.
Okay. Well, this team, I'd like okay, for once, oh no, I thought there was no Crocs, but it's just in a weird place. Yeah, this team looks like it's in a good place. There are 4 out of 6 developed Soros, all of whom have block. 2 of them have guard, 1 of them has mighty blow, and there's 1 tackler. So there's a good variety of options on the Soros. The Crocs is a block break tackle Crocs. So this is basically a perfect... Wait, and guard. Okay. All this needs is stand firm, and then it's basically a perfect Crocs score.
Yep.
And the skinks are not very developed, which is actually a good thing, because skinks level up quickly, and ideally, for a lizard team, you want as large a percentage of your team as possible, a larger percentage of your TV as possible, to be taken up by a Soros. Like, a bloated lizard team is a lizard team where most of the TV is in the skinks.
Yeah, and I mean, you can still win with the bloated lizard team, but it's a lot harder.
Yeah, I mean, like, lizard teams are just really good, no matter what. But skinks don't have great level ups unless they roll doubles or stat ups, which has happened a couple times on this team, mind you. There is the Sure Hand Sprint skink. I don't know why you would take Sprint on this skink, but, anyway... There is also the Sidestep Agility Jump Up Sure Feet skink. As Sure Feet, but not Sprint.
Yeah, I would definitely go sidestep before sprint on that guy.
I
But
mean, I sort of understand taking sure feet on this because, like, honestly, with sidestep, it is not hard to get 3 pushes for
well, yeah,
a. Um,
it's 2+ dodges through
mhm,
tackle zones on
exactly.
Dave Killer Carlson. He's your one turner. He's definitely your one
Hmm.
turner.
Yeah, and like with sidestep, getting 3 pushes for a 1 turn is not that hard. It's certainly not much harder than getting 2.
Yep.
Uh, the sprint is very odd though. Um, to me,
Maybe
maybe
it's an. I would say because if he's picking up with the sure hands guy and he's typically handing off to the Agi 2 guy, which is how I would play it.
Agi 4 guy.
Uh,
Yeah,
Agi 4 guy. I could see that, and then either if like say
Mhm.
something happens to Dave Killer Carlson and you need to score now
Mhm.
because or else you're screwed. You know that one extra movement might actually save
Mhm.
you. So I
Although,
can see it. It's got its
Mhm.
uses. I just don't know if that's optimal.
although having said that, I think this player should definitely not have jump up. Agility 4 skink into jump up does not feel like a good choice. This would have been better if it was sure feet, or it would have been better if it was catch. Jump up is not very useful on this skink.
It is if you want all 8 of the movement though. So if he has the ball, gets knocked down, he could jump up, 2+ dodge, 3+ pickup, still has 7 movement to run away.
I mean, the thing is,
I-
an Agi 4 skink shouldn't be in a place where it can get hit in the first place. The only time
You-
the only time it
you
should be
say-
hitting the ground is when it trips.
I mean, and that does happen.
It does, but it doesn't happen often.
So I mean, I don't hate it, but I also say it's not optimal. But I can see why you would want it.
I mean, like, I don't hate it simply because there are not that many good options for a skink. I just finished saying
Mhm.
that. But I definitely don't like it.
Yeah, for me, it's you don't hate it, but you don't like it. I like it. But yeah, sidestep, sure feet, sprint would be my go-to for that guy.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe even sidestep, sprint, sure feet.
Mm-hmm.
But he definitely needs sprint next if he doesn't get a double. On a double, I would definitely pick up block or wrestle.
On this guy, I would take block.
Yeah, unless you wanted to use him as a cage diver,
The-
then wrestle. It's 2+ to get in there, man.
Okay, a 1 in 9 dodge for a cage dive is usually sufficient. I would definitely take block. This is the obvious first choice for a ball carrier. Yeah, like overall this team looks pretty good. I think it needs to get a couple more it needs to even out its last couple of Soros. Get them block as well, really.
Yeah.
And it has a magic dome already for its stadium enhancement. And I do notice it has 4 rerolls. I don't think it needs 4 rerolls anymore.
At this point, no. Especially now that you have block on the Croxagore. Because that's... Yeah, I mean, typically you don't re-roll the Crocs anyway,
Mhm.
but you now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of your main blocking guys, all with block. You can get away with
Yeah.
2 dicing with the other 2 until they get.
And you have
to
sure
level
hands on
1
a skink as well.
Yeah, you could definitely do that. Drop 60 TV. You'd be at a good 1450.
Mhm.
That's a good number.
Probably what I would do is I'd wait until my next opponent had a round TV that was around in that same area. Like, say the next opponent has 1500 TV. Drop this reroll. Now you're 400 under them instead of being 10k above, and that can be like a huge advantage because even if you aren't using that money, although you probably should with a full bank, it prevents your opponent from scumming you.
And then also, because I didn't Google this and I knew this from the start, the Charlestown Chiefs is the name of the team from Slapshot, a Paul Newman movie from the 70s.
Oh, you know what? I should have actually known that.
Yeah, you're Canadian, aren't you?
No wonder Hanson. Because I was looking at Hanson as well, and it seemed really familiar. Yeah, no, I know. It's the triplets.
Mm-hmm.
Duh. Okay, in fairness, I've not seen that movie since, like, I was in elementary school, so...
I've seen a good 10 minutes of it in passing.
It wasn't exactly fresh in my mind. Let's just leave it at that. Okay. Yeah. I think this seems to be doing okay so far, right? Like,
yeah, this is a good team.
It's 1-1-1, so yeah, that's okay. I think it'll do better as the season continues. And I think the team will continue to develop and look good. I don't know if it'll come in first in the division, but I think it'll perform well overall.
Yeah.
Okay, and on that note, let's go look at 10A. Oh, actually, wait, no. I forgot it last week, but I had an excuse for it. Not this week. We need to actually look at some games for next week.
All right. Week 4.
Or, I mean, yeah, let's still do 2 games per. Like, I mean, there's a fresh set every time. So, I mean, there's 3 possibilities. Pick 2. Who are we singling out and not doing?
Let's not talk about Sierra Boys, the Giant Stags, and the Fat Earthers, because I feel like we talked about them pretty well in our game stuff. Let's talk about...
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, Charlestown Chiefs and Sugar and Spite.
So, we have that nice lizard team that we just looked at against the Dark Elves. The Dark Elves are hosting a good 1680 TV, I believe. So, they're already going to get a lot of inducements, the Lizards, without dropping the reroll. So, you might not even need to at this point. I would see what you're looking at, and then, maybe if there's something you want to buy,
I mean, with 1,500 in the bank, I wouldn't even mind dipping a little bit into the bank if I really wanted something. Like,
yeah,
I would have to if I wanted a fireball, I don't care if I'm spending 50k, really.
Yeah.
In order to keep that extra reroll, that's probably worth it.
Yeah, I mean, it's 170, so they're going to be able to get a wizard anyway. So,
but you're right. Like, look, maybe you can get Slibbly if you drop the reroll, though. That would be worth it. Yeah, though, I think advantage Lizardman.
I'm thinking so too, except for I'm looking at. Let's go back to the Chiefs again here, real quick. I don't think they have a lot of tackle on their team.
They have 1 tackler.
1 tackle to go up against 6 Blodge Rogers, and the Witch Elves are 3 of their players.
There are 6 Rogers on that team.
There's 4 Blodgers and 2 Rogers.
Oh. Okay, I think we need to look at that team next week.
Yeah, both Witch Elves are Wrestle Witches. One has Juggernaut, the other has Tackle.
Oh, I remember now, yeah.
The Blitzer with Mighty Blow Tackle. I might actually give this one to the Dark Elves. This one's going to be an interesting one. This is going to be a good game.
I still want to say Lizardman, but yeah, that's going to be a good game. That'll be a pretty close game, I think, no matter who wins. I'm still going to say Lizardman, though.
All right.
Okay.
And then the other game we have is Mystery Science Goats, or we just 3K and Royalton Circus. So Kislev versus our Agi Chaos.
I think Kislev has the slight advantage here.
I think so too.
I think Negative Pro will hurt the Kislev team, but I think the Kislev team, I don't think he has the tools yet to kill the Kislev team, which is what he would need to do to keep them from running circles around him.
Yeah, it's really hard to control a Kislev team, especially if they're on fire. So he might just be hoping that Leap doesn't do a thing.
I mean, it can happen.
He's got 4, 5, 6 guys that leap on a 2+, so he's going to be able to get where he wants to whenever he wants to.
Did you say 6?
Yeah, he's got 4 catchers and 2 Agi 4 linemen.
One of those is new.
I think one of the catchers is new, because I'm pretty sure there was 3 at one point. And he's playing it like I like to play it, with more catchers than blitzers, because I like to play Kislev as a as a Skaven light
Yeah,
team.
I mean, like I think the Blitzers are really attractive because they have natural jump up palm access,
Mm-hmm.
but pretty objectively, I think it's the catchers who are the feature player of that team.
Yeah.
Like they're basically slow gutter runners, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, you can build because of both ways to be catcher
Mm-hmm.
heavy or blitzer heavy, and they just become two different teams at that point.
Mm-hmm.
But I like the way that he's going because that's the way that I would do it.
Yeah, I mean, like gutter runners is still better because they're OP. But like, I honestly I think that Kislev catcher is very comparable to a gutter runner in
Mm-hmm.
its utility. At least before you start getting all the real bullshits on gutter runners, like natural one turners.
Yeah, and doubles for mutations.
Yeah, stacking
But
mutation access is pretty bullshit.
yeah, but I mean, movement 7 with leap kind of equals movement 9 because you don't have to run around things; you can just jump over them. So
Except for the purpose of doing natural one turner.
that is true. But in this game, yeah, I think I would go with the Kislev as well at this point. I'm not looking at the TV value, so I don't know what inducements they'll be
I
seeing.
think Royal Circus is above, but not by a huge margin.
Looks actually their negative pro is gonna be over because he's got a level up pending.
Okay. No, that should already show on his team TV.
Well, he also has. I'm pretty sure it doesn't because he might have a stat up or a double, so it won't actually.
The way it should work is it adds the 20k right away, and then if there's more from it from a double or a level up, then it adds that when you do it.
No.
That's how it's supposed to work. I will not guarantee that is how it works.
Yeah, he's also 20k over on his bank, so that adds a little bit to it too. So they're basically even.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Okay. So we're thinking Kislev. Okay.
Yep.
On that note, let's move on to the other division, to 10A, which have not played their game this week yet. That's nice. No, they have played all of their games, and there's no admin games because this is a new team, so they can put in new players, which is great. First game, Elves behaving badly versus Honest to Gob.
Looks like we got some elves murdering goblins. That pogoer is dead.
Well, pogoers are useless anyway.
That's true.
Or so I say. I mean, okay. So here's the long and short of the pogoer. I'm not going to get into the whole spiel, but it is good when you're playing against a very large TV advantage. Or no, the other way around, disadvantage. When the TV difference is very large, having a pogoer is good because it's not that much more money for the advantages it gives you. But when the TV advantage is small, it is more valuable to have a regular goblin because then you can get either an extra goblin for basically the same amount, or you can get more inducements. That's all I'm going to go into on that one. So the armor bust here is from this game.
Yeah. Ooh. That block, mighty blow, tackle, blitzer with a armor bust. That's rough. I would probably still keep him for now, just because he's your only mighty blow and your only double. But if he, anything worse happens to him, don't Apo him and just let him die. But
yeah, I think that's the correct way to go about it. Yeah, plus also this team can't really afford to shave more players. It's still missing a blitzer. It's still missing a witch elf, and I'm pretty sure it still has only 2 rerolls.
Yeah, and it ran with 2 loners into the game as well, so it's just light on players as is.
Yeah, it cannot afford to fire players unless it absolutely cannot keep them.
I mean, he's still a good player, still a usable player, but as I said, maybe don't Apo him. See how it goes. He's your only tackle right now, so if you need a tackle, you have to Apo him. But...
Only tackle, only mighty blow, and only one of 3 players with block.
Yep. So yeah, definitely keep him.
All right. Stats wise, Goblins actually got a ton of removals. They just didn't get a lot. it was just mostly KOs.
Yeah. 3 expulsions. Well, they have 3 special weapons, so that's not unheard of.
3 expulsions is like the minimum.
Yeah. Got some KOs. A few more for the goblins. Yeah. Armor breaks were about even. More blocks for the goblins than the elves, but when you're running low on players, you don't really get to block a lot. So it makes sense.
Yeah. I'm surprised actually because like I'm not surprised that the goblins got a lot of removals because like that happens with goblins. That's what secret weapons do. But I am surprised that they got them from blocks.
Yeah.
Which seems to be the case here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like the trolls did work.
Well, I mean, that's what trolls are for when they work. I mean, that's goblins, really.
They
you know,
the trolls never work.
When they work, they're great. When they don't work, it's just funny.
Sometimes the chainsaw works. The trolls never work. Actually, that's not true. Sometimes Ripper will work when he doesn't sleep through the whole game. But your roster trolls, those guys never work.
It looks like Earfart is. He's working. He's working well.
Anyway, next game: the Bashing Lizzies versus Bambino's Rebellion, which is a 2-2 draw.
So this is Skaven versus Lizardmen. It's a very basic Lizardmen team. They have no level ups yet.
Yeah,
so...
since you missed it, this is one of the substituted teams.
Oh, so this is the one that came from Ramp Up. All right.
One of 2 teams that came from Ramp Up, I believe.
Gotcha. And this lizard, I mean the Bambino's Rebellion, they don't really have a whole lot of levels either. So they do have a Claw Blitzer, which will definitely help them against Lizardmen though. 62% possession by the Lizardmen team, only 12% for the Rats. That makes me think that they just scored quick. Probably scored quick on their drive and then 1 turned at the end.
Well, they are rats, so...
Yeah. They got 1 surf, probably, from the Rat Ogre, which would be, I think, 2 or 3 weeks in a row he's got a surf.
Yeah, I forgot that this team has a Rat Ogre. Man, that thing.
I like Rat Ogres.
It's actually been doing... It has actually been doing really good. A lot of good for this team, so...
Yeah. I don't hate Rat Ogres. I just hate that they reduce what other things I can have. So I typically don't get one.
I like the Rat Ogre conceptually, but I'm pretty sure it is suboptimal.
Oh yeah, it's definitely. But if you like to play with it, go for it. They can be fun.
I mean, I'm not a good rat coach anyway, so there you go. Yeah, like this looks like it was a big running game. Both players scored twice. Neither player appears to have done very good at stopping their opponent from scoring. And the Lizards did get a few removals on the Rats, but nothing serious, I don't think. Yeah, just some badly hurts.
Yeah, just some badly hurts. They only inflicted 2 KOs as well. Or no, they inflicted 4 KOs. The Rats ended up receiving 6, though. So, failed dodges or something of the like.
0 expulsions, so I'm going to assume it was failed dodges. I mean, with line rats that happens, so...
Yeah. 47 blocks to 29. I mean, it just seems like a pretty straight up, Lizard versus Skaven game.
Okay, so next match, Greenskin Brawlers versus the Serpent Lords, which is a 2-0 win for the Orcs. They definitely outbashed the Dark Elves here.
Yeah, Orcs are, I would say, probably the natural counter to Dark Elves.
Ooh, that death.
That's what I would say.
That death was on a plus strength lineman.
Plus strength lineman. Plus strength's nice and all, but you don't want it on a lineman. So I feel like
I might have had this lineman on my fantasy team. I'm gonna need to double check that after this. I went after all of the level 2 stat increased players I could find.
Yeah,
it might be on there.
Streak Spore is nice and all, but you don't really want an alignment, so I wouldn't have appoed it.
Well, whether he appoed it or not, it's still dead.
Yeah, it's still dead. Then we got badly hurt, just a couple badly hurts after that. This Dark Elf team needs to get some more blitzers because I only see 2 on their roster for the game, but that looks like one of them might have been MNG'd for some reason.
Orcs got lots of SPP off of this game, so they're doing quite well after this.
4 casualties, a kill, 1 surf, 2 passes by the Orcs. Or no, 1 completion by the Orcs.
1 successful pass.
1 successful pass. 62% possession, 2 touchdowns. Yeah, that's a lot of experience points or SPP.
Okay. Yeah. Moving on. We have With a REBBL versus Charlestown Journeyman, which is a 1-1 draw. Okay. Well, that's not really the result I was expecting for a draw. Equally here, as with the last one, I think it is clear what happened, only with a slightly different end result.
Yeah.
The undead team... Wait, I think this is undead. Yeah.
Yeah, it's undead.
The undead team absolutely murdered the pro elves. The deaths were 2 line elves, which isn't so bad, but they were both rostered line elves. So the journeymen have 2 more journeymen.
Yeah.
There were also 2 other perms on this team, but both of those were also on journeymen. So, who cares?
Yeah. It was still bloody, though. One of the dead linemen stole the MVP, as is tradition.
Plus, now he's playing for... Now, with the REBBL got another Pokemon. Admittedly, a Pokemon with a terrible journeyman name. But, he kind of made it on theme.
Yeah.
The
other thing is, this is it's just brutal game. He ended up only getting netting 4 SPP through the game for the Charlestown Journeyman, but he's still he at least got the tie.
It was a brutal game, but he still didn't lose.
Yeah.
Pro elf things. I remember from last season as well or no, maybe it was the season before last. It was the season before last where I was doing Soul. Was in one of the divisions that I was covering, and Soul's a really good coach, but also he absolutely abuses his team, and he was losing at least 1 player per week, and it was it wasn't like the Amazon team that we cover where it's always a line woman either. It was he was losing important players every week, but he also finished games with 4 or 5 scores every week.
Yeah.
So it didn't matter because he was getting so much SPP, he was just instantly replacing all of his dead players.
Yeah, and I don't see a catcher on that roster right now.
There's a thrower and 2 blitzers, and that's it.
Looking at his actual roster in game, one of them had an MNG move bust.
Okay.
That's why he wasn't there, and he just bought another one.
Okay.
So now has 2 catchers, so that's good.
He still has 4 journeymen though.
I would go ahead and probably get rid of that niggled lineman though. That he still has on there, but that's if he wants it to not have to do a loner roll. I mean that makes sense too. But
I mean that's what it would be for. So
yeah.
Okay. Next up we have Hierarchy versus Sugar and Spiked. Wait, Spikes. Damn it!
Spikes. Totally different. So Hierarchy is our Bretonian team going up against some Orcs, and they ended up winning 2-0.
And they didn't do it off of armor breaks either.
Bretzel surprise you sometimes. They can play the Agi game pretty decently. I wouldn't say well, but decently.
Yeah, Knights are pretty good, but they're also way too expensive.
Yeah, well, they did end up getting... Oh, no, they took 15 armor breaks. That hurts. But it looks like they were all stuns. They ended up taking 2 Kazs and 1 KO, and for 15 armor breaks, that's not bad to only get 3 removals out of that.
Yeah, I mean, that's really what it looks like. It looks like Hierarchy just played and outplayed Sugar and Spikes, because Well, yeah, like pretty much that's it. Because I cannot see with these removal results, like with these injury rules, I cannot imagine orcs losing except if they got outplayed.
There's that, and then also he's got 3 blodgers against no tackle, so that can help too if you're not getting the power rolls on those players.
I mean, true, but then that's not like that doesn't mean like.
Well, yeah, it's not an end all be all, but with a 7, if you're only going to get 1 good shot on it before he gets away from you as orcs, because your fastest movement is 6 on blitzers, 4 on black or 5 on black orcs, or is it 4 on black orcs?
It's 4.
Yeah, so you're going to get 1 good shot before he dodges away and gets out of there.
Well, what I really mean is more like maybe the orcs can't stop Hierarchy from scoring, but I don't think Hierarchy can necessarily stop a full orc team from scoring either.
Yeah,
I mean, apparently they can, but
yeah, they did.
Maybe they got like a good kickoff result, but like this feels to me like it was a heavily skill game, and that Hierarchy outskilled Sugar and Spikes. And yeah. I could be wrong. I haven't watched the game. Tell me if I'm wrong, but that's my assumption, and It is definitely correct. Okay. Next, we have the Club Scouts versus the Borner Boys. The Club Scouts, incidentally, are the other
new team, Ramp Up.
Yeah, Ramp Up team. They are Necro.
We got some zombies got hurt pretty bad. And a couple MNGs as well. An MNG on a Flesh Golem, an MNG on your Ghoul, 1 dead zombie, 1 strength busted zombie, which is dead, and an armor busted zombie, which I think would also be dead because his job is to get hit.
I mean, yeah, I would just fire it. Yeah, like who cares if zombies are loners? Who cares?
Yeah, he's definitely gonna have some zombie loners though with all those players out. But so that next week's game is gonna be tough. But
well, like that's the other thing. What's the difference between? I mean, you have 4 zombie loners next game. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Oops. Sorry. This game.
Calm down, Chaos Uberlu. It's okay.
It's just werewolves, okay? Werewolf didn't die. It just makes me so sad. No, I think the next game is going to be rough for the Club Scouts, but I mean, it's a Necro team. I think they can still easily do fine for the season at large.
Yeah, Necro, they're kind of tough to out right out the gate because they start getting real good at around like 12 to 1300 TV. Beast Kimmery, just a little bit more skills on them that are useful. 2 Mighty Blow and a guard, more block. So it was a tough ass game in the first place.
Speaking of that, once again, Borna Boys proven that they're playing from the Gengar school of Khemri.
2 expulsions.
I really wish I could see a count of how many times they fouled. Like, honestly, like, that has to be one of my in terms of information that, from the match report, that has got to be my number 1 request.
Yeah.
And I phrase it that way because there are so many other interface improvements I would prefer to see. But in terms of information, that is the information I want.
Yeah, I mean, they got 13 players, so they got plenty of people to stick a heel into someone's face. So, yeah.
Okay. Last of all, we have Common Nightmares versus Hornstars 2018.
So this is the other Necro team and the Chaos team.
I bet that's not a werewolf here either.
This was a bit of a bloodbath.
There are some. Wow. A white took a strength bust. A flesh golem took a move bust. And Chaos took, a couple of MNGs.
Yeah.
And the zombie died. But the werewolves are still alive.
Yeah, and I'm actually surprised that Common Nightmares was able to, get that with fairly equal attrition, especially on your positionals are worth way more to your team than a couple warriors and a beastman is for chaos. So still being able to pull out the win there that's pretty impressive.
If I had to guess, probably Necro was on offense, and they didn't take the serious damage until the second half.
Yeah. And it looks like Common Nightmares only inflicted one of those three casualties.
Sure enough, it all happened late in the game.
Yeah. And then they did get a surf, so one of those injuries probably came from the surf as well.
Also an expulsion, so.
Yeah.
Fallon was happening.
You just love Fallon. He just goes crazy for Fallon, folks. I mean, that's his MO. He just throws shit all over the place.
Well, I'm just gonna leave that down there until we're done. Then I can't drop it again. Okay, let's look at a couple of teams.
Right.
We have already looked at 3 teams. Yep. I'm sure you knew that already. Pick a team.
So I'm looking at the spreadsheet that you gave me. I only see 2 of them with marks through
That's
them.
because you were looking at week 1.
Oh, I need to go over to a new tab. Now I need to figure out how to read this. So I'm just going to pick one at random. Let's go with the Boner Boys.
Okay, let's do that. And yeah, no, don't worry, I'm going to simplify this chart the next time I update it, so it's a little easier to read. Because I'm going to stop cramming information in there that I don't need to put in there. And that will really save a lot of space. And time. Borner Boys, there they are. Coached by Prozoc, It's a Hard Life. It's Kemri.
Oh yeah, this is the one with all the dick jokes.
And apparently both of the positionals from the game we were just looking at were taken out by fouling.
Oh wow, the white death and the flesh golem.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, but we're not talking about that. We are talking about Kemri. And
Boner Boys.
Okay, so this isn't pure Gengar school because there's 2 throw raws, and he hasn't yet rolled a strength up.
Doesn't Gengar have 2 throw raws? I thought he has one with one blodge and one Hail Mary pass.
He does have 2 now, but he did not have 2 when his team was a rookie team.
Gotcha. I mean, I don't hate having 2 at the start because if one gets hurt with AB7, you need to back up your hands because you're all Agi 2.
I mean, you're just gonna throw to a Tomb Garden anyway, so.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's what you do. Tomb Guardians are your wide receivers.
And having said that, these Tomb Guardians do have a lot of SVP on them. Yeah,
they do. So, I like going Mighty Blow with 2 of them first, and guard on one of them. I would probably do guard on the 4th one unless he gets doubles or stat up. But because you're a Kimry coach in REL, you're going to have Strength 6 Tomb Guardians plenty. And Strength 4 Blitzraz on the way. So just keep at it. They'll get there.
Yeah, that is the Gengar school after all. You have 2 Strength 6 players, and you have 2 Strength 5 players, and you have 2 Strength 4 players. And then, but at that point, you have so large a strength advantage that you basically do whatever the hell you want and start taking Sneaky Git on skeletons.
Yep. But I like how he's got Mighty Blow on one Blitzer on tackle on the other. Tackle to deal with those pesky dodgers. And then you got your killer in the making at least.
Yeah, I agree.
Steel.
I also like that. One of the throw rods has block as well, which is good. There are 2 skeletons who are 1 SPP away from getting the ever popular Dirty Player. Or, wrestle sometimes is nice for setting up the fouls. But I'm going to go to a limb and say that probably that's going to be Dirty Player.
Yeah, I would say the first one will be a Dirty Player at least. Maybe even the second one. But the second one, I would go with either wrestle or maybe kick. But
look, if you're really going the Gengar way, it has to be more Dirty Player.
Yeah, all 5 of them get Dirty Player. And then when they level up again, if they roll doubles, Sneaky Git. If they don't, fire them and get another dirty player so you can get more sneaky get.
Pretty much.
That's how he does it.
I would not be objected to a skeleton who took dirty player and then wrestle.
Yeah. Or dirty player and kick, because then you'll have a kicker and he'll be sent off eventually anyway, so you don't have to worry if your kicker gets hurt.
I mean,
just dirty player.
Yeah.
All of them.
Pretty much, yeah.
Then when you're out of zombies to get dirty player, or out of skeletons, get them on your Tomb Guardians.
Team just bought a Magic Dome as well. 10K in the bank. I was wondering why. Yeah, they have a stadium enhancement. Magic Dome.
Don't actually put dirty player on your Tomb Guardians. That was a joke.
Yeah, I mean, if you were really doing the Gengar school, then you would have taken the Bribe Stadium. But, I don't blame you for taking the Magic Dome. It is a sound decision with Khemri.
I like a Magic Dome more than the Bribe Stadium on Khemri. But that's just me.
Okay, I think the Magic Dome is a better choice, but I like the Bribe Stadium so much more.
It's because you love fouling, and now you're going to drop your thing again because you love fouling so much.
No, I won't, because I left it on the floor. Pay attention. Okay, now I have to pick a team to look at. I have already looked at the Goblins, so let's go with... I know who I'll go with. It will be... Elves behaving badly. Coached by Queen Elizabeth.
I didn't know we had royalty in here.
No, that's Queen Elizabeth II.
Well, there had to have been a first one.
I mean, yes, that's like 200 years ago.
You don't know if she's still alive or not.
I mean, admittedly, she might be like a lich or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
but if she is still around, then she's definitely undead. I think that disqualifies her from any regal titles.
Gotcha. All right, so plus strength, Blodge Witch Elf. That is a fantastic piece. I'm jelly.
Oh yeah, and okay, so if this player was named, what is the stereotypical? There is a stereotypical Daisy. That's it. There have been many Witch Elf Daisies in REBBL, and everyone has rolled a strength up.
I haven't, but
you don't have a Daisy though, do you?
A Daisy?
I said a Daisy. Yeah.
Huh.
As far as I know, every Witch Elf named Daisy in the REBBL has rolled plus strength.
Gotcha.
Which is one of those weird things. But like seriously though, I know multiple Dark Elf teams who have had a Witch Elf named Daisy who has rolled strength up.
Well, she doesn't. Her name's not Daisy. It's Galdesteel.
I know it's not Daisy. I'm just saying anecdotally, it happens a lot.
So,
I don't know. Let's be honest. Witch Elves are one of those players who get strength up a disproportionate amount of time.
So, moral of the story is, when you buy your second witch, name it Daisy, and it'll get strength up as well.
Yes, exactly.
You'll have 2+ strength Witch Elves.
But yeah, like you're right. There's not a lot of development on this team, but what's here is good. There is, of course, the Blitzer with Tackle and Mighty Blow, who did take a move armor bust, which sucks, but it's not the end of the world. There is this amazing Witch Elf with plus strength and block.
He went dodge first on the lineman. I would have gone kick, just because I wish I had it on my team, especially with the first lineman. But I don't hate dodge first, and I don't hate block first either. So, I mean, they're all good options.
With 10K in the bank, I'm pretty sure they just bought their third reroll.
They did. Because I remember them having 2 at the beginning of the season.
So now they need to save up for the second Witch Elf and the fourth Blitzer. Maybe not in that order. I would probably take the fourth Blitzer here first, simply because you don't know when you'll have to replace this guy.
Yeah, I would too. Mainly because, one, they're just slightly cheaper. They're easier, or they're more sturdy than Witch Elves. And just starting with block is nice, and you want as much of that as possible. your 4 blitzers are the core of your team. Your witch elves are your gems, but those gems stand on the pillars of your blitzers.
Yeah, like with 3 healthy blitzers, I might take the second witch elf first, but with only 2 healthy blitzers, I would definitely go with the 4th blitzer.
Yeah.
And like the one downside here, I think, is that all of the development is on, or most of the development is on just 2 players. So you need to protect these 2 players very carefully, because if something happens to them, then all of your development is just gone.
Yep. And IBN is just a little bit closer to being retired as well. And that's 23 SPP you don't want to lose.
Other than that, I agree getting a kick on a line elf would be good. I think getting some blodge on the blitzers would be good. Like I think these 2 blitzers who are rookies really just need like a touchdown each funneled to them, just so that they can get blodge.
Yeah. Have Nalbear throw a touchdown pass to Enmal, and then have Nalbear score his own touchdown.
Yep.
You're good.
Gonna be fielding a couple loners, which isn't that big a deal, and of course no stadium upgrade yet, because that is a second season thing for Dark Elves.
Yeah, I still don't even have mine, and I'm a season part of an OI and almost half a season into this one. So
we are not half a season into this one.
It's 3 games.
It's week 3.
It's week 4. It's a third of the way through.
Anyway.
Close. It rounds up.
Let's look at next week's games. So.
All right.
Let's see. The one that sticks out to me here actually is let's see right here. Horn Stars 2018 versus Hierarchy.
Murder Chaos versus Bretonians. This will be a fun one.
I think it will be a really fun one.
The Chaos are missing one of their warriors and also their Strength 4 Beastmen, which isn't that huge of a deal against Bretonians, because they don't really have a whole lot of high strength players. They actually have no high strength players, and that just means their Dauntless isn't as effective against you. It's going to be interesting though with all of these warriors and players without block. There's only 2 block on the Beastmen, no block on the warriors. When you have 8 players on a Bretonian team that can take a boat down safely. So that'll be something to watch. No tackle going up against 3 blodgers. I think we might see the same kind of result that the Bretonians had this past week, where going up against the stronger orc team and still being able to win 2-0.
Based on what I've seen, I think the Border Boys have been a little... No, I'm looking at the wrong game. I think Horn Stars have been a little bit more proactive with getting in their blocks compared to the orcs. But having said that, I tend to agree. I think the advantage here is for Hierarchy. They have good development on the players where it matters, and they seem to be well equipped for dealing with a bash threat.
Yeah, I mean, the way Horn Stars is, they're building their team, it's the long-term way of building a Chaos team, which is nothing wrong with that. It's just...
But they probably aren't going to win the playoff seat in this season.
In this season, no.
It's unlikely.
Bretonians are a good team at low TV. They kind of start falling off at high TV, so this is like the sweet spot where they're going to hopefully be running circles around...
I would contest that to a certain extent, but it is highly situational. Anyway, I'm not going to get into that rant because I'm saving it for when we cover Hierarchy.
All right.
And one other game we should look at. Anything that catches your eye?
Let's take a look at... we got a Dark Elf Mirror coming up. Serpent Lords versus Elves Behaving Badly.
Okay, so one of these teams is more crippled than the other. As we saw, Serpent Lord's team is healthier overall than Elves Behaving Badly.
It's difficult to say healthy, because if you look at the Serpent Lord's team, they've got 2 niggled players, a move busted blitzer, They also have a strength 4 witch elf though, so your theory is correct. They just come to everybody except me.
I know the feeling. Okay, do you know how long it took me to get a single stat up other than my star player on my dwarf team?
I'm gonna go with 3 seasons.
I think I got it at the end of season 2, so 2 full seasons.
2 full seasons. All right. Yes, I think they're both equally beat up. And I actually would probably give. I think even though you're going to be missing your Mighty Blow tackle piece, there's only one dodge player on the Serpent Lords, so you don't really need the tackle for this game.
I mean, there's also only 2 dodge players in Elves behaving badly.
That's true.
And they have only 2 blitzers for this game.
Yeah. And Serpent Lords have a wrestle piece, a kicker, and a block lineman. So
I want to say advantage Serpent Lords, but it has the potential to be a close game.
Yeah,
I think
the
advantage is Serpent Lords, I think, but it's not a big advantage.
I am gonna go with, just from the history of watching these 2 coaches' results, I'm gonna give it to the Elves behaving badly. But it's still kind of a toss-up because I think they have the same kind of records almost. I think they're like one's 1-1 and the other is 1-2.
Okay, that's fair. I don't look at history when I pick results. I just go with whichever one I like the better at the time. So it's worked for me so far.
There you go.
Okay, I think we're about done. But one quick correction from something I said earlier. I was corrected when I said that the Common Nightmares positionals got killed by fouls. In fact, it was the Chaos Warrior MNGs that were caused by fouls in the late game.
Gotcha.
Okay. And now we are done. So thank you for joining us, and I hope it was helpful for everyone. Have a good night, or morning, or this is primarily a REL crowd, so probably night. Bye!
Bye, guys.
Okay, that's over, but I have not ended my stream because I wanted to answer a question to someone in the chat, which is not relevant to the video